This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
And welcome to the WWE Podcast. It's time for the Monday Night Raw review. It's Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, as the final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania has now concluded. But there's a lot to talk about. As we get closer and closer to that WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 that I think we're all about ready for at this point. I think we can say that collectively we're ready. Let's do this. Let's find out who wins, who loses, surprise returns, surprise heel turns, babyface turns. I'm ready for it all. I don't know about you, but let's effing do this. So we've got a lot to cover, Monday Night Raw, and I'd like to invite you guys to ad-free. If you want to go ad-free, great time to do it. WWEpodcast.com or Apple Podcasts, or you can go to patreon.com/WWEpodcast. I'm running a contest there for those on the SmackDown tier and higher. If they get their picks right for all of WrestleMania, you get your contribution for the month back. So a little bit of an incentive, but I'd like to also announce that I'm very excited about Stacy Keibler being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm saying that with kind of a half-hearted excitement, because what exactly did Stacy Keibler contribute to the women's division? Oh, that's right. Yeah, over-sexualizing them. And you know what? To be fair, she's obviously not the one who was the instigator of that. It was just a sign of the times, and she was doing as she was told and collecting a good paycheck for it. But I guess I just don't understand what the standards are for getting into the Hall of Fame. Are you just supposed to be remembered at all at this point? Like, if you had any impact at all, you're in. What? I mean, especially when it comes to the women. Why would you put in? And look, Stacy Keibler, I'm sure, is a nice woman. I did some research. She's got her own family. She seems like a very nice person. All that. But what exactly did she contribute to wrestling? I can't remember her having even a good match. What? Can anybody explain this to me? I mean, for all the progress women have made in WWE, largely due to the fans movement, not because of WWE's own initiative, you're going to induct somebody because they had some good bra and panties matches and she had really long legs? I mean, really? I mean, she was in Playboy pillow fights. She was the sex toy of Test. Remember that? Oh, I remember that. Back in 03, 04. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just missing something major that she did. But I just, in my memory that is fading quickly in my age of 38, I just can't remember. I'm being a little bit facetious and poking fun at this, but it also is just a bit confusing as to why Stacy Keibler is in the Hall of Fame and what the standards are exactly. Maybe did they want a woman in there? I mean, I guess maybe they just wanted representation in there. Because I can't think of another reason. I can't. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there is like, she did this or she did that, and I'm totally forgetting. So correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, tomorrow is the mailbag, guys. If you want to contribute, send your emails in. Mr. and Mrs. Casual Wrestling Fan will be back to answer your emails. They'll be back, and I'll be doing the voicemails on this major pay-per-view week. Send them to me at mailbag@wwepodcast.com. All the contact information for the phone number and everything else is in the show notes of every mailbag show. So, all right, let's dive into Monday Night Raw, guys. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. Let's do it. So, Monday Night Raw, let's just start at the open. It started with a very rare Miz TV segment, and I'm joking, obviously, because Miz TV has to be a part of every single Monday Night Raw. All right, I'm in a complaining mood, guys. I don't know why. So, look out. All right. But The Miz came out, and he welcomed us to his show and brought out Becky Lynch and brought out Trish Stratus and brought out Lita, right? So I I don't have a problem with this. You know why I don't have a problem with this segment, even though Miz TV is insanely overused, is that it actually brought some kind of relevance to this match that is otherwise a complete afterthought by fans. And I think in all likelihood, it does seem like Lita and Trish should and will drop the belts. I don't see any other way around it. The promo by Lynch here, I thought was actually really good, and she did her damnedest to make a push for fans to care about this. She said that she doesn't get along with many people. She respects Trish and Lita as much as anyone in the business, and really like hammered into Dakota Kai and Io Sky in a way that is needed. And it's so what the fans are thinking, and that is, you guys have done jack since you came to after SummerSlam, right? And she really hammered that home of how you guys have done absolutely nothing. And it's true. That is, I mean, hallelujah. You know, it has been, I would say Damage Control has been one of the kind of major disappointments when it comes to the women's division. You know, and it's not that they couldn't catch fire, but the fans at some point, no matter what you do with them, are going to lose interest. And even though Becky and Lita should drop the belts at WrestleMania, what's the case for Io Sky and Dakota Kai winning? You know, I mean, and Bayley. I mean, oh wait, the belts aren't even on the line. I've been going this whole time thinking the belts are on the line. They don't have a women's tag team championship match, do they? Oh my God, they don't. So they're not even put the belts on the line. I see why, though. Think about this, as I have been embarrassed for the past 5 minutes or so. You just assume it's a title match, right? I mean, my mind just went to, well, the titles are on the shoulders of Lita and Trish. Why the hell wouldn't they put the belts on the line? But it makes sense if they don't, because number one, you can't have the tag team titles on the line in a 6-man or 6-woman tag team match unless you do Freebird rules. And also, why would you put the belts back on a team that no one cares about? Like, I mean, literally right now, as they are presently constituted, Io Sky and Dakota Kai are like the wallpaper. No one really pays attention. They're just there. And they can't, I mean, they absolutely have the ability to get back to relevance. And I think they will. But why would you put the belts back on them? You know, so I guess it makes sense you don't defend them against Damage Control, which I guess means that Becky and Lita will probably go till Backlash and then drop them. I don't know. But this was actually a nice fiery promo from Lynch. It got me half interested in this match, or at least I guess as interested as I possibly could be given the circumstances. So, all right. But then we did get a match, Becky Lynch with Trish and Lita versus Io Sky. And this ended with Becky Lynch defeating Io Sky in about 11 minutes. Really good match. Probably the best match both women have had together or separately in a long time. I mean, Becky Lynch also has been kind of dragged down into this. And it has been underwhelming, yes. Is it as underwhelming as Bianca and Asuka? No. We'll get to that later too. And they tried to save it with some video packages, which I thought it was a valiant effort. But still, I don't think most fans care about it. And that said, though, Lynch has been kind of sucked into this vortex of irrelevance is a strong word, of just kind of, no man's land. No pun intended. It feels like that. But Lynch getting the victory here made sense. Good match. All right, let's move on here. We then got a video package solely on Asuka, and I thought it was, it didn't get me more excited for this match with Bianca. It just got me more excited for Asuka as a wrestler. That's what I got more excited for, is just her as a wrestler, or as Vince would like to say, performer, right? Because they're all like magicians in community theater, which is what performer makes me think of. But that said, it did get, again, you look back and go, wow, that's right, Asuka. Remember that hot streak, that undefeated streak that Charlotte broke at WrestleMania several years ago, and how everyone feared her, and like she was just this force to be reckoned with. And somewhere along the way, she got lost, and she became Raw Women's Champion and then was off TV for 6 months, or they just literally didn't use her for 6 months as champion, which was just flat embarrassing. And she's had some hot streaks and some cold streaks and some weird streaks and some heel turns. And then, like, you know, she cuts her hair now, and so I don't know. I'm conflicted because I like what they did with this video package. It reminded you how good Asuka could be, right? It reminded you who and what she is. But then you go, oh, well, this storyline is kind of womp womp with Bianca, which is bizarre because she's such an amazing talent as well. So that's why heel turn, please, Bianca. Let's do this. Let's add a little bit of fire to this match. All right. Seth Rollins was interviewed by Kathy Kelly backstage regarding his angle with Logan Paul last week. And before Rollins could speak, we had Ali cut in and tried to speak for him. And Ali then called himself Positive Ali. And Rollins said, I get the wordplay. And he recalled Ali wanting a title shot at him when he was U.S. champion. And Rollins said, good things come to those who wait, and they should have that match. And Ali tried to back out of it, but they said the match was happening. So, yeah, I mean, again, no consistency. And when Adam Pearce has to make the match, he doesn't have to make the match. Apparently, the broadcast team just assumed there is, even though Adam Pearce has said, I make the matches, you don't. Well, anyway, I understand you can't have Adam Pearce on camera say everything's official, you know, every single match. I get it, but it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm looking for something that's never going to happen, so I should stop complaining, right? All right. But as far as the Ali gimmick goes with positively, right? I get it. We all get it. I don't hate it because I just saw it. I mean, it's hard for me to pass judgment on something that I just saw that I need to let a little bit of time pass before I give judgment, right? Like we need several weeks or months of this and see where it goes and see if most importantly, it's going to be the fans. Do you start to see fan signs? Do you start to hear positively or Ali chants? I guess you can't chant positive Ali. No, you can't do it. So they just have to chant Ali. Does the crowd get into him? Like what happens here? The crowd is going to be a massive barometer of the success of this, as they are with almost all storylines. So, and I say almost all because as we're told that the fans are the ones that drive who is babyface, who's heel, or who goes to the top, who doesn't. I'd like to point them to Exhibit A of Roman Reigns for 6 years as a babyface that they shoved down our throats and we rejected more often than not. So yeah, when I say almost always, and they tell us that we hold the keys to, nonsense, not all the time. Most, we have a heavy influence, but sometimes WWE, when they make their mind up about somebody, go with it and have a war of attrition with the fans and say, I know better than you, as Vince did with Roman. So anyway, but all's well that ends well, because look what we have now with Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. Okay, way off topic. I like the positively thing right now. I'm willing to give it a shot. I think there's something there. It did kind of make me think, though, back to like when they don't know what to do with somebody, they just make them like super positive. You want some examples? Bo Dallas. Remember him? Bo Leave. Okay. How about Nikki Cross? Nikki ASH went into stomach churning childhood hero who's always happy and nothing can bring her down. Or maybe Happy Corbin, just to name a few. It's almost when they go with the happy extreme road when they're in desperation mode for the character to do something, catch on to something. And, I'm wishing for Ali. I'm hoping for success for him. He's a hell of a talent in the ring. Hell of a talent. So I'm on board for this. Let's see where it goes. But Seth Rollins versus Ali didn't last long. It was about 2 minutes. Seth gets the victory with a stomp that was kind of had Ali in a tree of woe, and then he hit a second stomp in the middle of the ring for the victory. And then after the match, he said he's going to finally get his hands on Logan Paul on night 1 of WrestleMania, and said that he had a joke. Paul had a history of making a joke out of himself, and Rollins said that if he can't beat Paul at WrestleMania, then, quote, he's not the joke I am. He said that everything that Paul has done to him would come back around in 5 days, and mentioned that Saturday will also be Logan's birthday, and said the fans would serenade him all night long. And what he meant by that is, I guess, singing Rollins' song. So fine. No, kind of your fine. I mean, like, good. I'm ready for this match. Promotion over. Let's get to it. Good job with the promotion. I have to say the promotion of this match has gotten me more excited than I thought I was going to be. I expect this to be an amazing match. I mean, 3.5, possibly 4 out of 5 stars. Almost an unfair expectation. But with the talent level that Logan Paul has from an athletic standpoint of what he's shown already thus far, and Seth Rollins' ring awareness, his presence as a ring general, he is at this point a ring general, right? So I think they have the potential to have a match of the night, if not a match of the pay-per-view, maybe. So, all right. Footage aired. Oh, by the way, I was wrong about Logan Paul showing up and knocking him out a third time. Maybe they didn't pay Paul enough. I don't know. That's what I would have done. But, all right, footage aired earlier in the day of Baron Corbin complaining to Adam Pearce about not having a match at WrestleMania, yet doing signings and meet and greets all across the country. Chelsea Green interrupted and asked Pearce why she wasn't in the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Showcase match. Again, what's the difference between a showcase match and a regular match? Yeah, you got it. You know the answer to that one. But Pearce said Green doesn't have a partner, and Piper Niven wanted nothing to do with her. Then Sonya Deville showed up and told Green that she did Adam Pearce's job better than he did, and Pearce said that they would have to earn their way into the Fatal 4-Way by winning a qualifying match during Raw. Corbin returned after the woman left and said, seriously? Corbin asked Pearce, who walked away. So the broadcast team then hyped Green and Deville versus Michin and Candice LeRae as the qualifying match, but said the segment for the weigh-in was next. So Corbin continues to get dismissed, continues to get disregarded and disrespected and pushed to the side. And, I would imagine that that's going to cause some kind of transformation in his character, but I don't know what that is. I don't know if they know. I don't know if they know. But right now Corbin is just kind of being sidelined purposefully in storyline. And I don't know what it's leading to. I mean, is it leading to, you'd imagine Corbin going into a darker, meaner, type of guy, but he's already a heel. So I don't know. And the fans he's been a heel almost his entire career. So I don't know how much more you're going to get people to care about a heel Corbin. No matter how heel you want to make him, I think the fans have kind of made their mind up about him and how they feel about him and no matter what they do with him. So, all right. Anyway, I'm just curious as to what the end game is with this. We will find out, I'm sure, in time. All right. What's next? We got, as I mentioned earlier, the weigh-in. And Omos came out with MVP. And MVP spoke about Lesnar's WrestleMania accomplishments and said he wouldn't be able to suplex or F5 Omos. And Omos stepped on the scale. He's at 410 pounds. They never did a close-up of the actual weight, which is, of course, the case because I really doubt he's 400 pounds. I think he's probably 350, but that's my take. Who cares? I don't really care particularly about the actual numbers. It's irrelevant. It's all about perception in this match. But, when MVP is talking about how Brock can't do this, can't do that, Big Show weighed 500 pounds at the time that Brock Lesnar F5'd him and Germaned him and superplexed him off the top rope that broke the SmackDown ring. We all remember that moment. So, I guess we're all supposed to, erase that from our memories. Fine. Again, not a complaint. It's really not a complaint. I'm not going to go on a rant about it, but just a observation. If you've been a longer-term fan like myself, you're sitting there going, wait a minute. Pretty sure Big Show was even heavier than Omos and equal in height, if not maybe an inch shorter than Omos, right? So anyway, so Brock came out. He didn't even, Brock didn't even go for the weigh-in. He just charged at Omos and Omos put him down with a big boot and Omos picked up the scale and Lesnar scurried to ringside while Omos stood tall in the ring. As Brock tried to hit him with the scale first. And that's what the big boot happened. And then Omos tried to do the same thing with the scale to Brock. And then the crowd chanted Suplex City. So not much here, I guess. It was just kind of your nice small step to the match. And it's kind of the same theme running through this whole show is I'm ready. Just let's go. I'm ready. I'm tired of analyzing it, thinking about it as you are as well. It's fun. But at some point, you're just like, can we do this? And I feel that way with almost every single match, if not every single match. But I guess that's how I should feel. No more build except for Friday night. And they did call it WrestleMania Raw. Vince must be back in charge. I mean, that's got to be confirmation. That has to be confirmation that Vince is back in charge. When not only do we get a completely inaccurate name for SmackDown of WrestleMania SmackDown on Friday, which again, it's not WrestleMania, so you can't put them together. WrestleMania is a single event. It is an event unto itself. You don't combine them. It's just regular SmackDown. And now they tried to stretch it to Raw. I mean, if you need any more evidence that Vince is back in charge, there it was last night. So, but we got Omos getting the better of Lesnar again. No Germans. No F5s, but I didn't expect any. And because why? Well, that's the whole premise of the match. That's what everyone wants to see. So you don't give that away for free on Raw. You make people buy the subscription to the network, go to Peacock, go to the WWE Network if you're not in the US, and do it that way. So and pay to see it. Yeah, it's a tale as old as time, to quote Beauty and the Beast. All right. No idea where that came from. So, Lesnar is on the outside. He's kind of stunned. You're thinking he's going to go back in the ring, but thinks better of it. And, it looks like Lesnar is intimidated, or rather has his work cut out for him. And that's fine. It's good stuff. Yeah. All right. So, Rhea Ripley was interviewed backstage by Byron Saxton, and Ripley said there's no denying how great Charlotte's legacy is. But she doesn't need to be reminded that she's a 14-time women's champion, and that Flair's legacy is unmatched, but it won't define her destiny. Rhea said she must beat Flair to become the biggest star in the industry, and Ripley said it comes down to Charlotte's legacy compared to her destiny. Boy, they must have came up with that in some kind of production marketing meeting, huh? It's legacy versus destiny. I mean, somebody must have been reading some kind of inspirational meme. Maybe they went through John Cena's Twitter feed or something, right? Ugh. If you want something, look, if you want something that makes your stomach churn every single time, if you don't like the gooey stuff, don't look at John Cena's Twitter feed. Everything he puts out, and some of you may like it and get inspired by it, and to for real, like that's great. You're wonderful, and I really mean that. But for some of us, you look at it and go, this is just like, dude, no, you're just a walking meme. It's like he's trying to be a modern theologian. I don't know. But he's just Googling these quotes. I mean, he's not sitting there thinking of these things. He just has them in his notes in his iPhone. And every once in a while he kind of pulls one out and, this is the quote of the day. Like, I don't know. But anyway, I got some more stuff to say about Theory and Cena in just a few minutes here. But so Rhea Ripley cutting a promo on Charlotte. Really nothing new here other than the marketing of legacy versus destiny. This is really what they wanted to get across. So, all right, fine. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, and their partners Braun and Ricochet made their entrance. And we got Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders. And in an 8-man tag team match. This ended with Strowman dropping off the apron and hit multiple opponents with shoulder blocks, and then Erik hit Strowman with a knee lift. But Strowman came back and power slammed him, and then Ricochet hit a swanton off Strowman's shoulders onto Erik, and then the legal man, who was Ford, hit a big frog splash onto Erik and got the victory. So, just kind of a nice babyface win. Get the crowd back into it, get their spirits back up. It's a nice kind of pick-me-up. And nothing really of consequence here. Not that there was supposed to be. But I do, if I was Braun Strowman, man, I would be concerned about people jumping off my shoulders to do maneuvers. And I know he's a big dude. I understand all that. But here's the thing. I don't care how big you are. Your collarbone, your clavicle cannot take that much pressure. It snaps easily. It's one of the most easily broken bones in the human body. And if Ricochet doesn't go completely off of the trapezius muscle and slips down onto the clavicle, that thing's going to snap like a twig. So I would not make that a long-term finish. I really wouldn't. Standing with the body weight of someone in a very narrow, condensed area that is prone to breaking bones on your own body, I would not recommend that. I mean, I don't know. Not that they need to hear from me. Of course, I'm no medical expert, but sometimes common sense doesn't need a medical degree. All right. So anyway, let's move on. Cody Rhodes was interviewed by Kathy Kelly backstage, and she said Rhodes put himself in a vulnerable position by agreeing to face Solo, and Rhodes spoke about Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman cackling over his chances, and then said he would ask them why he needed to face the Enforcer. Rhodes said he's earned it, and Rhodes said Sikoa isn't ready. He closed by adding he will defeat Reigns to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion at WrestleMania. So fine. Again, if anybody thought you were going to get anything revolutionary on this go-home Raw, I mean, it's not going to happen, right? And I had figured, not that I'm any kind of genius by any means, it just makes sense that you're not going to have a whole lot of wrestling on these final two shows, because not only are you risking injury to your stars and putting WrestleMania matches in jeopardy, but also you kind of need to wrap things up with video packages and sit down promos or whatever. So you're going to get more of the entertainment-y stuff, and you also can't have the two opponents or several opponents, whoever, whatever the match dynamic is, you can't have them in matches with each other at any point. Like, you got to get to WrestleMania to have that. So you're going to have pull apart brawls or just, whatever. So you're not going to get a whole lot of action this week until you get to WrestleMania. So that's, if you like wrestling and long wrestling matches, and more than just one a show, it's probably not the week for you until you get to Mania. So, all right. Well, what else do we have? We got Bianca Belair, a video package, who had a bunch of comments from Corey Graves and Montez Ford and Beth Phoenix and Molly Holly and Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. It was a nicely done video package for Bianca. And it just was a way to promote the match without having those two have to promote the match. Because, as I said, Bianca Belair and Asuka have this match that, I mean, I would argue that the vast majority of the fans don't seem to give a damn about, and that's why I'm arguing that they need to do something with this, or they may, if Bianca wins, I don't think the fans are going to be that excited. I mean, she's been champion for a year now. They're ready for a change, whether it's a title change itself or whether it's just a character change with Bianca turning heel. But as far as this video package goes, it was nice, and they emphasized her EST stuff and her twirling her hair. Like, as I've said, this is the perfect analogy of her at the playground as a 12-year-old twirling her hair playing hopscotch. I mean, that's the way she seems to be portraying herself in the entrance. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like... It almost seems like she should be a little bit more mature when she comes out. And I don't think she's an immature person. She's not. She never puts the company in hot water. She is an all-time great worker for the women in WWE, if not the best women's worker from an athletic standpoint they've ever had. She's got a great look. She does exude confidence, but I don't know. The entrance is starting to wear on me. The hair is a staple of hers, right? It's part of marketing. It's part of her identity, like all that. It's wonderful. But I think ultimately it will hold her back from fans taking her super seriously when she's twirling her hair around like a schoolgirl. Yeah, that's what kids would do, not grown women. All right. Anyway, again, other than that, I really am super high on Bianca Belair. If you guys listen to me, you guys know I am. Bianca Belair has a future. She's probably already got a Hall of Fame spot locked, even if she quit today. So, okay, let's see. Oh, and by the way, they did those video packages because they knew they had nowhere else to go with this program. When are you going to have them brawl again and have a pull apart again? And Asuka can't cut a promo because she can't speak English. So there goes that. What are you going to have Bianca Belair out there? And so, yeah, probably the only way you could go, but probably the best promotion I've seen for the match. So there's something to be said for video packages. All right. Speaking of the entertainment-y stuff, a lot more of it on the show here. We got footage earlier in the day of Austin Theory delivering an in-ring promo inside an empty arena and said that John Cena thought that he exposed him when they were last in the ring. But the truth is Cena exposed himself for not being able to see the future right in front of his eyes. And he said being in the ring alone was no different than being in a sold-out SoFi Stadium. Yeah, I highly doubt that. I'm fairly sure that's a bold-faced lie. Right? Like, how is it exactly the same? Okay, I guess maybe you can go back to the Thunderdome if that's the case there, Theory. If you really don't care. Anyway, I mean, it just I don't know if it was meant to be ridiculous, but Theory then said he doesn't do it for the fans or some kid who wants to be the next him. He doesn't do it to become the next John Cena. He says he does it for himself, and he had a purpose before anyone had an opinion about him. He said it's sad to know that he would have let John Cena go down as a hero, but he had to make it personal. Theory said everyone looks up to Cena, so it's fitting that John Cena will be looking up to him, and Theory said he would make Cena believe in him, and that he would make the WWE Universe that Cena loves so much believe in him when they meet on Saturday at WrestleMania. I thought this was very interesting. I don't think I've seen before COVID, take COVID out of it, I don't recall an empty arena promo. I don't, by choice, right? Like not pandemic times, by choice. But I didn't hate it. It was effective. Made you pay attention. It was different. With no fans. You know what it also did? It took away those stupid what chants. That was maybe another thing that they were going for as kind of a bonus. A side effect of doing an empty arena is you don't have to hear those stupid what chants that are just getting, it's guys, please stop. Please. It's the cool factor left about 20 years ago on that. So, all right. So fine. I mean, the content of his promo though was fine. I mean, the biggest thing I think he had to say was that Cena exposed himself for not being able to see the future right in front of his eyes. Okay. I mean, Cena would still carve him up on the mic, and Cena's that good. But here's the one thing I got a little frustrated about. It had nothing to do with Austin Theory. I think he delivered everything well. I think the setting in the empty arena was good, and it gave us, just solely focus on Theory. No chanting, none of that. John Cena shows up once for a match. We get nothing beyond that. Not even via satellite. Nothing. Not even a damn. They didn't even scour through his Twitter feed to see if maybe John Cena was promoting this match or taking shots at Theory. Nothing. So John Cena shows up once and has to basically shove 5 weeks of promotion into a single promo. That's it. They've come face to face once. It's almost impossible, really. But here we are, and fine. It's opening WrestleMania, so that'll be fun. Okay, let's continue on here. Let's go down to Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green versus Michin and Candice LeRae in a qualifier for the 4-team showcase match at WrestleMania. 3-minute match here, and it ended with Deville catching Michin with a punch from the apron while the referee was focused on Green, who then hit Michin with the unprettier and pinned her. So, 3 minutes. We've now got a nearly, I think it's complete, fatal 4-way tag team showcase match at WrestleMania with none of the tag titles or the women's tag titles are not on the line here. Weird. Very, very strange. All in the spirit of what? Bringing back Lita and Trish? All right. So then we got to see Dominic and Damian come to the ring for Priest's match against Rey Mysterio. And then Kathy Kelly stood on the backstage ring and introduced Paul Heyman. Heyman said Rhodes doesn't fear the Tribal Chief because he's not ready. And Heyman said Rhodes proved it moments ago when he questioned why it's so important that he faced Solo Sikoa. Heyman said Sikoa is ready to weaken Cody for his match. Heyman said Sikoa wasn't there to compete. He's there to put a beating on Rhodes so that he wouldn't be 100% at WrestleMania, and spoke about how Reigns isn't afraid to go to those measures to maintain his spot as the Tribal Chief. And Heyman told Cody to be ready to acknowledge his Tribal Chief after the main event of WrestleMania Sunday. And he also mentioned that Cody wasn't ready to fill the shoes of Dusty or become the man of this generation or to beat Reigns. And said that Cody will have to take the emotional baggage that Reigns will dump on him on Friday's SmackDown to WrestleMania. So it sounds like Heyman is going to, or Roman Reigns is going to unleash a little bit on Cody. Roman Reigns is going to drop it hard on Roman, or Roman's going to drop it hard on Cody. But here's the one thing I don't know how Cody hasn't mentioned. Hey, so you were the, quote, big dog for 6 years and you couldn't get over, yet you're coming at me for not being able to get over in a promotion I was in for like, a year. So I don't know. I guess maybe they don't want to remind fans that he was the big dog and it was a completely failed experiment until they turned him heel, which the fans said, hey, yeah, we've been telling you this for 6 years. See how great it is? But maybe they don't want to go there. And maybe they do. Maybe they're saving it for SmackDown. Maybe they're saving that big clapback from Cody to Roman on SmackDown. I don't think it would damage Roman. I really don't. Roman's a made dude. Even if they bring up the big dog character, which actually Heyman mentioned the big dog. Right? He did mention big dog in his promo, and then he went from big dog to the tribal chief, but he didn't go in any deeper than that. Cody could. Cody could say, hey, I know you mentioned the big dog. You went from the big dog to the tribal chief, but let's talk about the big dog for just a minute, shall we? And then go into it. Why not? Why not? But maybe they're that protective of Roman's character. All right, but Dominic and Damian stood in the ring after that, and again, it's a very talky, video package heavy, entertainment-y type of shows for the next, one more of a SmackDown, and then we get to all the act. You guys, if you're annoyed by how little wrestling there is in the next couple of shows, I mean, just wait. WrestleMania is going to give you your fill of great wrestling. I'm telling you right now, you'll be vomiting from an overdose of great wrestling. Didn't mean to be so graphic. I don't know why it was the first thing I thought of. But, oh, God, my brain is a scary place. Okay, Dominic and Dominic and Damian stood in the ring, and Dom said it takes a real low life to hit your own child. Dominic this is gold. Dom said Ray really is a deadbeat and said that after Priest beats Ray, then humiliates him at WrestleMania, everyone will know what a failure of a father he is. And then Dom had footage of Ray punching him on SmackDown, and then Dom spoke in Spanish and asked what kind of father hits his own son, what kind of mother stands and does nothing. And Dom said she should have told his mother to shut up a long time ago. And Dad, I've never said this out loud, but I wish Eddie was my real father, and you never existed because my entire family is a disgrace to the Mysterio name. It was great. This was good. I mean, who is writing for Dom? Can we give that guy an MVP or gal an MVP? Please? I mean, some of the great stuff that he's said over the last 6 months has just been awesome. All the prison references, and he ran his block, and you know what we did to snitches, and the teardrop tattoo that he had on his face for a little while, and calling his father a deadbeat, and complaining that he didn't even get the M series of BMW when all his friends got Mercedes, and just all this stuff. This is just it's gold. It's gold. And what kind of dad beats up his son? I mean, it's like when you're antagonizing a man for 6 to 12 months. I mean, I love this. And the reference to Eddie was awesome. I love that because I was just watching that whole storyline. There's a recap of that whole custody battle for Dominic back in 2004, I think it was, on SmackDown between Ray and Eddie Guerrero. Go watch it if you haven't. It'll get you up to speed. And Dominic is in the middle of that. Just awesome stuff. But all right, we got. And by the way, Dominic probably has the most heat out of anyone on the roster. Anyone. This is going to be such a fun match with Ray and Dom. It's going to be so much fun. I want to give you guys my predictions now, but I got to give you a hook for my show later in the week. But I think we'll be happy and angry, if that's a hint to you. We'll be very happy and very angry with this match at WrestleMania between Dominic and Ray. and in the best way for both. When I say angry, I'm not angry in the way that I'm scared it's going to be a lousy match or lousy story. No. I think this is going to be great all around, but there's something to be said for a match being great even when you're angry, if that makes sense. So I probably gave away my prediction, but anyway. All right, Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest was next, and Rey Mysterio beat Priest in about 3 minutes. Again, quick match. That's also the theme. Quick matches, which is, again, expected. But we got, after the match, Priest held Rey while Dom threw punches at him, and then Legado del Fantasma, which consists of Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. They ran out, and they caused Dom and Priest to scatter, and they got a decent pop from the crowd. I mean, more of a pop than you'd imagine, considering Legado del Fantasma has gotten little to no promotion at all. And so I think that they got at least a reaction, and that's good. So, all right. Let's see. We then, let's see what else. Backstage, we got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who found their names on Battle Royal entrance list, and then it said Payday. Gallows said, Gallows said Payday. Johnny Gargano was there and celebrated with him, and then Rick Boogs read the list and was over the top giddy about being included. Elias told him Boogs said that he better take notes because he's a lock to win, and Elias turned around and was intimidated by Dexter Lumis, and then he turned away from him and ended up face-to-face with Bronson Reed. When Elias turned around again, he was greeted by Bobby Lashley, who took issue with Elias, claiming he was a lock to win. But so, like, I mean, if it sounds like I was reading that, I was, because this was not on Hulu, and I didn't find any need to go watch, something that didn't happen from a significant storyline standpoint, or this wasn't a match at all. It was just obviously just Elias turning left and right, and it seems like he was going face to face with progressively bigger stars. And it's fine. I mean, they're building a little bit to the Battle Royal. I'm glad that they're at least considering some time on Raw for this. Now they have more time with 3 hours. I mean, you imagine if they didn't promote it, what are you doing with 3 effing hours? But I don't remember a whole lot of promotion in the past for the Andre the Giant. So Battle Royal. So fine with me. All right. Then let's see. We got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn looking into the camera and delivered their big promo, their go-home promo. And Zayn said that everyone knows he and Kevin started from nothing in Montreal, but LA is where they got their big break and made names for themselves. And Owens said that every fight they've had together or against one another was about moving forward. Owens said it doesn't get any bigger than facing the Usos for the tag titles. And Owens got fired up about winning the tag titles in a city where they got their first break, and that was it. So, yeah. Again, didn't help, didn't hurt. Steer the course to remind people what's on the line. And yeah, I'm sure most fans did know that about in LA. I didn't. So cool. I mean, fun fact. Not much more to say at this point other than just, effing fight. Let's do the match. Let's see what happens. And then we talk about it, right? So I had no problem with the promo though. And am I still a little bit concerned that Kevin could be turning on Sami at WrestleMania? A little bit. Again, I'd still vote against it happening, but I wouldn't put it out of the realm of impossibility. I really wouldn't. Sadly. If Kevin turns on Sami at WrestleMania, I mean, the fans are going to boo it, but they're going to boo it because they're just tired of seeing that story play out. And nobody wants to see it, right? They did all this build to have Kevin and Sami come together. Why would we have Kevin turn on Sami? I mean, for what? Shock value? There's no shock in that. And it would also really chip away the goodwill of fans and the trust that fans have in the WWE as well, I think. Because you do all this time, build all this effort into bringing them together only to just switch it. It's like, well, then why am I going to be invested, right? So, all right. I'm not calling for it. I don't think it'll happen, but they gave hints last week that got me concerned. All right. We then got the Intercontinental Champion Gunther with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, who took on Dolph Ziggler in a non-title match. And Ziggler loses, but in a match that was 6 minutes. So, Ziggler didn't do the 3-minute special that everyone else got on Monday night. But we got Last Symphony by Gunther. He hit Last Symphony on Ziggler after the powerbomb for the victory. Now, what the hell? We have the Intercontinental Champion doing it on Raw. No one even cares or says anything anymore. Who knows? But after the match, Gunther delivered a promo and complained about being forced to defend his title against both Drew and Sheamus, and said Ziggler's fate was the same one that awaited both opponents at WrestleMania. Fine. Again, good. Like, let's go. SmackDown, I'm going to feel the same way. A lot of us are going to be like, all right, cool. Let's go. There's not going to be... If you have a feeling about a match, if you're excited about a match at this point, you're not, your opinions likely aren't going to change with SmackDown for the better or worse. You're kind of locked in. It's baked in, right? You're either into this whatever match or you're not. You know, there's very little I think they can do at this point to get anyone really interested or turn anyone really off. Everyone at this point has kind of made their decisions emotionally where they're at with every match. So, all right, we then got a clip for the 2K23 video game. Cool. Good game. Great game, actually. And then we get the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And this match, again, this match surprised me from a finish standpoint because they were harping on the fact that Solo Sikoa was undefeated, as Cody is. Now, Cody said he's undefeated, but he probably should have had an asterisk above that or below that and said, hey, since I came home, right? You're not undefeated as a whole in the company. I mean, are we supposed to forget the Stardust? Are we supposed to forget all the other, all the other iterations and versions of Cody Rhodes that, had loss after loss every week? Yeah, but I digress. It's fine. Since he's been reborn, whatever you want to say, whatever analogy. Anyway, they were harping on Solo and the fact that he has not lost a match. And I'm thinking, all right, well, they're going to protect Solo here, right? They're going to protect Solo Sikoa as, and I actually think that they were going to, and they should going into this. I'm thinking they should. Because Solo has a good career. He could go in saying when he comes out of the bloodline, whenever that is, that he's undefeated. He's the enforcer. And that's not what happened. What we got was a Cody victory as Cody hit Crossroads on Solo, which the first one was messy. And like I said yesterday, man, that Crossroads is a tough move to make look really good because it's a unnatural movement for both men taking the maneuver. And you have to be very careful. You don't spike your head into the mat. Like it's, I don't know. I don't hate it, but it's a difficult move to make look really good. And you're already seeing guys get sloppy with it. So, I don't know. I digress. Jimmy and Jay made their entrance out and distracted Cody, and then Sikoa super kicked Cody and put him down with the Uranagi slam, which was the spinning solo. And you're thinking, oh my God, Cody's actually going to lose here. And I thought for a minute he would. And Paul Heyman's facials throughout the whole match was really good. Paul Heyman, I'm so glad he stood on that side of the ring so the hard cam could catch him every time. And I hope he stands there for WrestleMania. I want to see the facial reactions in a picture in picture with Paul Heyman. Can we do that? Please, can we pay extra for that? I would. But Sammy's music played. Kevin and Sammy evened the odds by brawling with the Usos, and that's when Cody ended up defeating Solo Sikoa in just under 13 minutes. This felt like a really big victory. I really like this victory for Cody Rhodes. If you're a Cody Rhodes fan, a supporter, and looking for reasons why or evidence for WWE moving him into the position that he's in and justifying why he's in the main event and why he has a real chance to beat Roman and maybe why you think he should. This is a staple victory for Cody. So I had no problem with this though, because it was I hate to use this word because it's so overused, but it was a statement victory for Cody. It was. And I think that it really helped his momentum going into WrestleMania. Big time. So, and by the match obviously was really good. I'm so glad the Samoan Spike is back. I just, nothing bad to say about this match. So, all right. Well, I think that does it for me in the whole Monday Night Raw review, a show that I thought was a good show. It's as expected. This whole... these go-home shows, I think over the last several years, we've kind of toned down what they are and what they should be and the expectations of them. And, this is the final build for Raw to WrestleMania, but that doesn't mean any Raw stars can't come to SmackDown because there's no such thing as a draft right now. So I'd imagine that we'll have some surprise stars come from Raw to SmackDown this week, and no one will care. Well, as far as like no one mentioning the fact, hey, why they're here? They're Raw. They need to leave, right? Not going to happen. That died a long time ago. But I think you'll see some nice build on Friday. We have a 2-hour show, and then wham, here we go into WrestleMania with what? How many matches they have? Like 10 matches, 12 matches, something like that total, right? Not on one night, but spread over 2 nights, which I still love that format. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Mailbags tomorrow. Hit us up there, mailbag@wwepodcast.com, or call us. The number to call us and leave a voicemail is in the show notes of every mailbag show, so you can just kind of copy and paste that into your phone, and you can leave a voicemail up to 3 minutes. And you'll be hearing from me tomorrow night with the mailbag with Mr. and Mrs. Casual Wrestling Fan for half of it, and then NXT review coming tomorrow as well, and of course predictions for WrestleMania probably being released probably Thursday. I mean, I can't imagine anything changing on Friday where I have to, oh my God, they added a stipulation or they added a new match or they, whatever. I think everything's locked in. I mean, it better be locked in, so I'll just going to go with everything on Thursday. What are my predictions, official predictions for WrestleMania? You get them on Thursday. And then Friday is, of course, going to be your wrestling, your WWE Retro, and the AEW review, weekly wrap, and then bam, here we go. Saturday, Sunday, WrestleMania. It's going to be a blast. Get yourself an ad-free subscription on patreon.com/WWE Podcast or Apple Podcasts, right in the native app. 1 week for free. That means you can listen to all of our audio through WrestleMania and beyond for free for 7 days. Or you can go to WWEpodcast.com. Whew. I think I got all my plugs in. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.